back earlier this morning, you heard Eugene Washington visit with us from Minnesota. Now we are going right back out to visit this morning with one of college football Hall of Fame's newest members, because Clinton Jones, who was a terrific running back out of Cleveland on that 1965 team 50 years ago, he'll be here next week. He's going into the College Football Hall of Fame in December. He is part of the documentary that Maya Washington has put together and will be shown in Conrad Hall next Thursday on Michigan State's diversity through the years, including certainly in football. In California this morning, 3 hours behind, Clinton Jones is on the phone. Morning, Clint.
Good morning, Tim. How are you doing?
Good, man. Thanks for calling. We talked to Eugene this morning. He had a lot of high praise for you, like all of us do. He was very happy that you were going into the College Football Hall of Fame. I think that speaks well for you and certainly for Michigan State. I know you got to be very proud of it.
I am very proud and very honored. You know, I have a deep appreciation for this, Tim.
Before I get into all the subject matter, Clint, I don't know if you've seen it this morning, but a few moments ago, the judge in New York City has ruled in favor of Tom Brady and nullified his 4-game suspension and ruled against the National Football League, so Brady is eligible to play right away. Did you see that, and do you have a reaction to that?
No, I didn't see it. I was unaware about that reversal of the decision, but I know Tom is very happy about it, and it makes him happy, and so the team is happy. So that's that's a good thing for the Patriots and also for Tom.
Did you follow this story very much, Clint? Do you think Brady deserves a suspension, or do you think that the NFL overstepped its bounds?
Well, everybody has an opinion, but I think that everyone wants some integrity in the game, and so the NFL was doing what they thought was the right thing to do, for the infraction that was said that he did. I don't know what happened, so I can't really make a true opinion or judgment about it. I would just like to see the game kept clean. I think that you have to go out there and you have to play a wholesome game to the best of your ability to win, but there's no need to cheat, and I don't know if he did or not. I really don't know what happened.
Yeah, we were talking Clinton this morning with Gene Washington, and I said I doubt. I was 16 years old when you played. I remember watching all those games. I remember those years. That 65 team to me is still the best team Michigan State has ever fielded, and part of that is the fact that 4 Spartans went in the first 8 picks in the following NFL draft. Do you think that'll ever happen to another school again?
Well, records are made to be broken. My father told me that many years ago. And so, it's just like everything that we accomplished during our time, I hope that Mark D'Antonio and his team surpasses us. That's just life. You want to keep on improving, keep on progressing. But the one thing is that we accomplished we set a legacy. And so we've been waiting for somebody to come up and to surpass us. And so everything that's going on for me right now is really, I'm just directing toward putting that energy toward this team being the top in the nation.
Sure. I know you'll be back here next week. You'll be here and be honored prior to the Oregon game 1 week from Saturday night. Those of you who didn't see Clinton Jones run, he was certainly among Michigan State's best all time. Duffy loved him, got him out of Cleveland. How did you end up just choosing Clinton to attend Michigan State, and was there another school that came very close to getting you out of high school?
Yes, there was, actually. It's interesting questions. As a matter of fact, last night, I was at the Orange County Michigan State alumni gathering for the signing of a book signing ceremony. Bob and Pete I were both there for Jimmy Ray's book, The Ray of Light. And somebody asked that question. Actually, Michigan State was not even on my radar. I wanted to go to Villanova University because a guy from my high school had gone to Villanova. His name was Paul Otis Drayton. He was a sprinter. I wanted to go there, and Frank Budd was playing there, but my SAT scores weren't high enough, so I wound up trying to go someplace else. But the person that came after me was, I believe, Danny Devine from Nebraska.
Right.
He was the very first person that really seriously wanted me. But that was the first year they came out with a national letter of intent. And so he signed me early, and I was supposed to keep it under wraps. And I was running the state high school track meet in Columbus, Ohio, at Ohio State, and I won it. And then Woody Hayes came up to me and saw my size and speed, and so he said I was destined to go to Ohio State, but he wasn't interested before that. But I wasn't interested in going to Ohio State at all. So to make a long story short, Woody was very disgruntled with me not going to Ohio State. So I wanted to go to a Catholic school, so I was actually on my way to the University of Detroit. And my track coach, Dick Marabito, told me, he said, Clinton, I want you to go and take a look at Michigan State because he was friends with Hank Buller and John McVeigh. So I did. And they had gone to my high school to look at two of my teammates, Terry Mulligan and Rich Samodi, and they weren't interested in me, but they saw me in the film. And I had only played 2 games my senior year because of 2 injuries. So I went to Michigan State, and I saw the campus, and I said, this is my new home. This is where I want to come. And at that time, I saw the spring game with Dewey Lincoln and Sherman Lewis, and I was really impressed, and I knew that they were going to be gone by the time I was in my sophomore year. So I decided to go to Michigan State. Had I gone to Detroit, they didn't have a track team. They said they were going to get one if I came there, and they wanted to drop in football. And you had never heard of Clinton Jones.
Yeah, absolutely. That's exactly right. I hadn't heard that story, Clinton. I thought I'd heard most of them. And obviously that team, the diversity angle around Michigan State football has become more in the public eye the last couple of years, both with Jimmy Ray's, the book about him, and now Maya Washington's documentary, which will be at Conrad Hall and seen next Thursday. I guess both you and Eugene will be there to visit with people, correct?
That's correct. We will be.
And
yes.
and was it an issue? Let me ask this different from when I asked Eugene, because I asked him. I said, was the diversity issue at Michigan State part of the reason you chose that? And I think in a way that came into play. It doesn't sound as much as when you came here that was a big part of your decision, unless it was, and I just didn't understand that.
No, it was never part of my decision. I didn't know anything about Michigan State. I fell in love with the campus and to get out of Ohio, because I made the determination to leave Ohio when I was 13 years old.
Why is that?
And why?
Yeah.
Because of the violence, because of the racism and the consciousness. You know, I didn't like Cleveland. You know, I was fortunate to have the mother that I had that took care of me in the school that I went to. I mean, that protected me in Cathedral Latin High School. That really, it changed my life when I went there, you know. But I didn't, you know, I wanted to get as far away from Cleveland as I could. And going to Michigan State was like a paradise, you know. It's just something, you know, the circumstances I grew up in actually formed my character. And there's a lot of good things about it, but I wanted to move away. And so I went to Michigan State, and I just, you know, the whole atmosphere and the energy of the campus was something that I just resonated with. I had no idea about any of the other students, anybody coming there.
Yeah.
All I know is that this was a college campus, and I just, I was awed by the campus. And actually, when I went to high school, it was 1,100 boys and only 20 blacks, but it was in the inner city. So I was used to diversity in a sense.
Yeah,
but actually during high school, I didn't actually socialize with my teammates or classmates because we lived in 2 different worlds. You know,
absolutely.
It was two different cultures. So when I came to Michigan State, you know, here we are. This diversity was in front of me, but it's very natural for me, you know, to associate with all kinds of people. And there were all kinds of people. This wasn't black and white. There were people from other countries. And I just, because of my background, and my major in high school was humanities. So I really that resonated with the diversity that was naturally at a university level. And I think that helped me help some of the other guys who came from the South that I understood, because my grandparents, they came from the South, and I knew what it was about in the South.
Absolutely.
I knew the suffering that went there. So I was able to bridge a gap between the guys coming from an environment and culture that I hadn't lived in, and never wanted to. Unfortunate that I didn't.
Clint, before I go, and I'm on the clock here a little bit, what are you doing in California now? What have you been up to lately?
Well, I've been up to being a husband, a grandfather. I got 5 daughters, 5 granddaughters, and 1 grandson, and I've been a chiropractor for 35 years. And all these things happening right now is very fortuitous because this year, 2015, is very significant. In May 19th, I had 2 identical twin granddaughters, and 30 days later, I had another granddaughter, and I have a great niece who was born 30 days after that, and my mother passed away in June, and now this season is upon us, so it's been a very eventful cycle of life year.
Boy, you're right.
So these things happening right now, I'll never forget 2015. So many things are happening. My mother won't be around, but she's with me in my heart. And my children, my youngest one is 25, my oldest is 50. So we have a big family. And we're all going to be there in Michigan State rooting for the Spartans, And so it'll give an opportunity for my 10-year-old grandson and my 12-year-old granddaughter to really experience this, So if it had come earlier, they wouldn't have been around.
Absolutely.
So my children, this is very special for me.
Well, good for you.
And my family.
Well, Clinton will be going into the College Football Hall of Fame in New York in December. What a way to end an eventful December 15. He will be here next week for the Oregon game. He'll be introduced before the game as Michigan State's latest College Football Hall of Famer. And you can meet him in Eugene, Washington, Thursday night at Conrad Hall with a showing of Maya Washington's documentary on Michigan State football and its diversity through the years. He was one of the all-time greats. And 50 years later, that 1965 team will also be honored here, as Gene said, on homecoming weekend, October 3rd as well. Clint, I appreciate the time. Have a safe trip from California, and thank you for joining us this morning.
It's an honor being on the show, Tim. Thank you very much, and I hope to see you when I come to Eastland.
Absolutely. Wouldn't miss it for the world. Clinton Jones in Eugene, Washington with us, 2 great names in Michigan State football lore. If you were from my generation, you remember those guys. And that Clinton Jones had the most gorgeous running style. I did not know that he was Villanova was in there, or Detroit. And believe me, he was a better player than that. He was a prominent player in the NFL. Time forbids us from going a little bit further with that, but we'll have him on again. Jim Comparoni is next with a Culligan MSU recruiting report on an eventful Thursday and a busy Michigan State football. You pick 'em Friday coming up tomorrow, and we're right back.